Everyone is lazy to some extent. There is nothing wrong with that. It's completely natural. Although, it's these moments of laziness that introduce us to our bad habits. When we are motivated and excited about a task, we find it easier to perform it, even if it is still a difficult task. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Also, click the notification bell to stay up to date. After a long day, we don't usually have the enthusiasm to do what we should be doing. Most of us choose to do something easy, like scrolling through social media, which leads to us being unproductive. Human beings are wired to be like this. However, everyone can change this, the same way you can change your default ringtone or wallpaper on your mobile phone. Each person has different habits which we perform daily without thinking about. These habits could be good habits, whether you adapt to learning new skills or reading books. Or they can be bad habits, like spending all day on your phone or eating unhealthily. Rather than allowing these bad habits to make us become more negative, we should revisit them and change them, the same way we can change our ringtone or wallpaper on our mobile phones. Did you know you can actually use your laziness as an advantage? You can, with the 20-second rule. We will start with an example. I want to increase the amount of time I spend learning to draw, and I want to decrease the amount of time I spend scrolling through social media. I will typically come across challenges, as telling myself what I'd like to do simply isn't always enough. By default, I'll carry on spending all day on social media because it's easy and it's my default. I need to recognize this to make a change, otherwise nothing would change, and I'd be stuck with my bad habits. I realized that in order to draw, I need to get my art supplies out from my drawers and arrange them on the desk. This takes about 20 seconds. Although it requires minimal effort, it is usually enough to deter me from drawing. After realizing this, I put my pencils, paints and sketching pads on my desk and neatly left them there. This way, when I want to draw, I can just go and begin drawing, and don't have to find all the supplies. In order to decrease the use of social media, I could use the same principle. I uninstalled the social media apps from my phone when I wasn't posting on them. In turn, I didn't feel the need to go on them as much, because it's too much effort to download them. The next time I want to scroll through social media, I realize the apps aren't downloaded. Therefore, I look at my desk and see the art supplies, so I draw instead, as it's convenient for me. This small change allows me to disrupt my bad habit and replace it with a good one. Learning to draw will start to feel more natural as it becomes my default. What I did was make drawing 20 seconds easier, and I made scrolling through social media 20 seconds harder. This approach is called the 20-second rule. Harvard's happiness researcher, Sean Aker, came up with this rule to help you break your bad habits. This strategy can be applied to pretty much all behaviors you would like to change. Our surroundings are a huge factor when determining our behavior, so by lessening the bad habits, you can perform more good habits. Most of us look at a task and determine whether we perform it or not by the amount of effort needed to start. For example, scrolling through social media and watching TV take very little starting effort. However, when exercising, a lot more starting effort is needed. Exercising isn't really that much effort in itself, but getting ready to exercise might be. First, you need to get changed, pack a gym bag, and then travel to the gym. It seems like there are too many inconveniences in the way. If you could eliminate some of the steps, it would make exercising much easier, as less starting effort is required. You will notice that usually once you've started doing something, it becomes easier to do it after starting off. The challenging part is starting a task. Another example is cycling. This is something I really enjoy doing. However, beforehand I have to go to my apartment's bike room to get my bike, which takes about 5 minutes. Why would only a few minutes make me not want to do something I love doing? This is because humans are quite lazy, and we usually choose the easiest tasks rather than the ones we enjoy the most. Now you have a better understanding of the 20-second rule. Let's look at some ways to apply this to some activities you love doing. If you like exercising, try joining a gym closer to where you live, or even exercise at home. This minimizes the risk of you not wanting to do it, as it will decrease the starting effort. If you have to travel too far to go to the gym, this will make you more likely to not go. Also, make sure to keep your gym bag and workout clothing in one place, so it makes it easier to get together before you go to the gym. If you are struggling to quit smoking, simply throw away all of your cigarettes to avoid temptation and replace smoking with vaping. Buy a vape pen or an e-cigarette and keep it with you at all times. This way, when you feel the urge to smoke a cigarette, it's more convenient to use the e-cigarette than go to the shop and buy some more cigarettes. Since there is another obstacle in the way, you're less likely to go out and more likely to use the e-cigarette. These are just a few examples of ways to better your habits. You'll need to look at your own habits and determine what needs to change. The 20-second rule may not work all of the time, but it will help you change some behaviors. Of course, there will be some days where I really want to scroll through social media, so I will happily spend the time downloading the apps. The same as if I want to draw, I will get all of my art supplies out. The purpose of the 20-second rule is to help you become aware of your behaviors, rather than just doing what is the most convenient. Remember, starting is the hardest part, so make your desired actions easier, and make your undesired actions a little harder. You'll notice a positive change in your behaviors in no time.